What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about tempering a little more in depthly now that we've had some more time with the system and have been able to mess around with it using some gear. And the first thing I want to say is hold on to your gear. A piece of gear might have a good special aptitude, which special aptitude is those effects on gear that have these stars on them. They range in quality: green, blue, pink, etc. Special aptitude might have a good special aptitude, but bad stats. But you might have a piece of gear that has a bad special aptitude or no special aptitude, but has stats that you do want. And that's okay that they're on different pieces of gear. That's a bit of the unique thing about the tempering system, and is actually really forgiving on their part. I'm a little surprised that they made the tempering system this accommodating for you to just not need to get a BIS drop. You can make a BIS piece of gear, a best in slot piece of gear, by tempering together multiple different pieces of gear. And I think that's great. I'm a little surprised that they're allowing it to be done that directly in a way, but right now, eye level 100 is our current cap. But when we go to 110, that's when you're going to be stockpiling 110 gear. But for the time being, you're going to need some, good min-maxed, little bit, not necessarily fully min-maxed, but some good gear before we start amping up into the, much later bosses that are coming down the road, as well as the epic difficulty, which is going to be above. Plus, if you've been jumping into Arcane Realm 2, some of you might have noticed that things are hitting a little bit harder in Arcane Realm 2, and it's only going to get worse in Arcane Realm 3, 4, 5, etc. So you're going to need a little more optimized gear if you're going to survive those DPS checks and take that damage as a tank. So the first thing about the tempering people have asked is, can you temper lower eye level gear onto a higher eye level item? The answer is yes. We have right here this level 90 gear that has 105 combo with 70 Omni, and it would go right here, and you just click this, and here is the cost for it. Not very expensive in this case, but this gear will not, the stats from this piece of gear will not scale up, so it will only transfer these lower stats over to it. So this would absolutely not be worth it, because now I just have overall less stats on this piece of gear. This eye level 100 set chest piece would now have eye level 90 stats. It might as well be an eye level 90 piece of gear, aside from the base stats that are on that chest piece, that 118 strength, the stamina, and the physical defense. But the secondary stats would be completely nerfed. Now, I'm going to do this just to show you something. Okay, so we're going to temper that. Here's the great thing. You can temper multiple pieces of gear at a time. Yeah, like just over and over. You can temper a piece of gear repeatedly. Okay, it's not a one and done kind of system. And this is why it's so good for you to be able to hold on to different pieces of gear. You don't need an individual best in slot piece to make it happen. You can do it through the use of multiple pieces of gear. So you can, if you have a chest piece that has good stats, you can temper over the good stats. And then if another piece has, a pink quality special aptitude effect, but it doesn't have good stats on it, you can transfer over just the special aptitude if you want and add that over to the piece of gear. So this piece right here, we're going to take this other blue chest piece that we have. It's not set gear, but it has a special aptitude that we like, and it has our primary stats that we want for DPS tank, which, friendly reminder as well for anybody who isn't aware, you can check how the stats transfer over when you hit between the two specs at the top on the gear, so you can see how those secondary and special aptitude effects are going to impact the gameplay as well. So if you play both specs, that might be something to take into account. But right now it's going to cost me 2 arcane dust and 12,000 silver to do this temper. And so there we're just going to temper this over, and boom. Okay, so you saw something there as well. And there's our chest piece now. It's a eye level 100 chest piece. It has the 105 combo, the 157 strength. Great stuff. It has that special aptitude now emblemed onto it. So we have that. But we saw something there. when you temper a piece of gear and it's destroyed from that tempering, if it had a rune on it, that rune is actually returned back into your inventory. You don't lose the rune at all. Same thing with your gems. Your gems are going to go back into your inventory. It's actually kind of insane that they're that forgiving about that. Now, you can easily bypass this as well. So let me throw this empowerment on here real quickly. You can also easily bypass this by the fact that if you have a piece of gear that can be just equipped, tempered or empowered items will do the same things gems do. So typically when you have a gem, a piece of gear with a gem on it, and you transfer over that piece of gear, right? It asks you, hey, relocate the Cardinal Pyro Stones and the Cardinal Pyro Stone Tier 1. Do you want to do this? Yes. You'll actually get that exact same prompt with the empowerments as well on pieces of gear. So if I had another chest piece that I could show you, but we already burned both of them, if I were to, you know, like put on a new piece of gear, it would ask me if I want to transfer that empowerment. So empowerments work at the same way gems do in that sense. But if by chance you forget to swap it over to the piece of gear before you temper it or anything like that, and that piece of gear gets destroyed, don't worry. It's just going to go back here into your inventory, and then you can apply it directly onto a new piece of gear. Now you'll have to, you know, eat that cost a little bit of the arcane ash or the arcane dust, whatever it is, depending on the quality. That is going to cost you a little bit, but you don't lose the rune, and you don't lose the empowering rune, and that's the important part there. So that's the thing about tempering right now, y'all. It's a really nice system. It's a very accommodating system, and it's just, you know, really lets you build your best piece of gear how you want to build it through the use of multiple pieces of gear. So it's really nice in that sense. But that's going to be all regarding the tempering. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps some people out or answers some questions that they might have had about it. And again, don't just be selling your gear left and right. I know you're tempted to be like, oh yeah, but if I sell this, I'm going to get some arcane dust, or maybe I'll get an arcane crystal. Well, maybe, but maybe it has a special aptitude effect on it that you would like to keep, like these Berserker leather gauntlets. You know, if I never get another special aptitude that I want in the next few days, I might just put this one on my current set gauntlets so that I have that special aptitude on my main piece of gear, that kind of deal. So, you know, don't just be so quick to, you know, get rid of gear just for the sake of getting arcane ash or arcane dust, things like that. That's all, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. You can also catch us live on Twitch at twitch.tv/sav. If you have any questions, you can ask us there. Take care. Have a good one.